Let's look at this question. TPL is an upcoming football tournament. 12 teams A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L participated in the tournament. Okay. The structure of the tournament is as follows. In a match, if a team wins 3 points, 1 point. In a match, if a team wins, they get 3 points. 1 point is awarded for a draw and 0 points awarded for a loss. So the point distribution system is 3-1-0. In round 1, 12 teams will be randomly divided into 3 groups of 4 teams each. In this round, every team will play a match with every other team in that group. So 4 teams, 1 team plays with every other team. So 6 matches in a group. Once all the matches are done, the teams will be ranked based on their points scored. Okay. In case of a tie, the team who scored more goals in that round will be given priority. Okay, the team who scored more goals in that round will be given priority. The top 2 teams of each group will go to round 2. Okay, the top 2 teams of each group. So 6 people will go to round 2. 6 teams will go to round 2. In round 2, 2 groups are formed. The first group contains rank 1 teams from round 1, and second group will consist of rank 2 teams from round 1. So there will be 2 groups of 3 teams each. In these rounds, the team will play a match against all the teams in the same group. So 3 matches will take place in each group in round 2 and will be ranked in a similar manner as that of round 1. The top 2 teams of each group will move forward to round 3. So in round 3, 2 teams from each group go. So 4 teams will move on to round 3. In round 3, rank 1 teams from both the groups play against each other and rank 2 teams play each other. The winner of the matches will go on to play the finals to play for rank 1 and rank 2. The losers of round 3 matches will play for rank 3 and rank 4. Okay. After the TPL was over, the following facts were known. Team H never had a match with Team K in any round. Okay. H and K never face off against each other. H and K never ever fight. Okay. Next is no team has all of their matches result in. Then you have in round 1. These are the points earned by the different teams. Points earned by the different teams. Now, based on the points earned by the different teams, there are certain results that we can infer. The primary among them being how many matches they've won, how many matches they've lost, and how many matches they've drawn. Okay. Let me just record. Wins, draws, and losses I can do for teams. Wins, draws, and losses. Now, in order to earn 7 points, a team can only do it with 2 wins and 1 draw and 0 losses. For 6 points, it can be 2 wins, 0 draws, and 1 loss. For 1 point, it can be 0 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses. For 5 points, it can be 1 win, 2 draws, and 0 losses. For 3 points, it can either be 1 win or 3 draws. It can either be 1 win or 3 draws. So I'll put it W or draw, draw, draw. For E right now, we won't record it. For F, for 6 points, 2 wins, 0 draws, 1 loss. For G, 2 points, 0 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss. For H, 7 points, 2 wins, 1 draw, 0 points. For I, 0 points. So 0 wins, 0 draws, 3 losses. For J, 4 points. So 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss. And for K, 7 points. 2 wins, 1 draw, 0 points. And L, 1 point. So 0 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses. Now for E, notice, whenever a draw takes place, the count of draws in the draws column will go up by 2. Let's say a match versus A versus B ends in a draw. If A versus B ends in a draw, but B does not have a single draw. Let's say A versus C ended in a draw. Then the draw count will go up in A and the draw count will also go up in C, which means the count of draws in the draw column, the count of draws will always move in steps of 2, or the final summation of the draw column should always be an even number. Depending on whether I have 1 win, 0 draws, and 2 losses, or 3 draws, 0 losses, 0 wins, I can figure out which of these two cases would take place. Let's say I have 1, 1, 2, 4, 4, 2, 6, 6, and 4, 10. 10 I already have. If I put down 3 draws here, can you see the summation of the draw column will turn out to be 13, which is an impossible state to have. We can only have the summation of draw column as an even number, and therefore it is 3 draws are impossible. It should be 1 win, 0 draws, and 2 losses, and this should be it. Another way we could have potentially arrived here, was looking at the summation of the wins column and the losses column. Every time a team wins, a team also loses. Every time a team wins, a team also loses. So let's say right now we don't know about E. What is the provisional total before including E? What is the provisional total of the wins column? 2, 1, 2, 5, 5, 2, 7, 7, 1, 8, 8, 4, 12. Right now it is 12 plus wins of E. And losses column 3, 1, 2, 6, 6, 2, 8, 8, 3, 11. 11 plus losses of E. Can you see the wins column and the losses column should ideally add up to the same number? How can that happen? If we put 3 draws, wins column and losses column would be 0 and 0. Your wins and losses column wouldn't add up to the same number. And that is impossible to have. The only way it can be fulfilled is if there was 1 win for E, 0 draws, and 2 losses. And now we have absolute certainty. How every team has ended up getting their individual points total. Now, based on this table, we can also see some wonderful things. Look at K. K has 7 points. The teams that have 7 points are these. K has 7 points. And K also has the highest goal difference among the teams with 7 points. K also has the highest goal difference among the teams with 7 points. So K is overall the topper out of all the 12 teams with 7 points. And therefore, K should also be the topper of his own group. In whichever group K is present, K should be the topper. Now, how about H? Can H be a topper of his group? If H is a topper of his group, this point will get violated. Team H never had a match with Team K in any round. If H also becomes a topper of his group, then H will end up facing K in the second round, which is impossible, which means H cannot be rank 1 in his own group. H cannot be rank 1 in his own. If H is not rank 1 in his own group, there must be a person who has scored better than H, either in points or if points are equal, somebody who has scored more goals. Can we have K and H together? No, H and K never played a match. The only other person who can be ranked higher than H is A. A is here and he has to be paired up with H. So, out in the two groups that we have identified so far, I'll write it slightly far apart. A and H are in the same group, so that H ends up being rank 2. H ends up being rank 2, and K in, let's say, in round 2, H is the team out in round 2. Out of 3 teams in a group, 1 team gets eliminated. Let's say H is that team that is getting eliminated. So I can have A at wins, draws, and losses 2-1-0, and H with 2-1-0. We can have this K with wins, draws, and losses at K with 2-1-0 also. Okay. Now, let's read through all the instructions that are given additionally here. No team had all of their matches resulting in draw. Okay. This also, if we had read through this point earlier, we wouldn't need any help for E. E had 3 points at the end of round 1, and all matches cannot end in draw, so it has to be 1-0-2. But now that we already know it is 1-0-2, this is a redundant point. This does not really help me in any way. Next is B had a match with A in round 2. If B had a match with A in round 2, it means that B was a topper of his group. A is a topper of his group. A is a topper of his group, and B is also a topper of his group. So there is a third group with B, wins, draws, and losses 2, 0, and 1. These are the three groups uniquely identified. A, K, and B are the respective toppers of the three groups we have identified so far. This is done. This is done. A won the match against E by 3-2. Okay. If A won the match against E by 3-2, A and E have to be in the same group, because these are insights related to round 1 unless stated otherwise. We had a match with A in round 2. This point is specially stated. Otherwise, these insights are related to round 1. So A won a match against E by 3-2. So E is here. If E is here, he had 1 win, 0 draws, and 2 losses. He had 1 win, 0 draws, and 2 losses. Okay. Now, look at this. In one group, there were supposed to be 6 matches. In one group, there are supposed to be 6 matches. 5 matches have ended in a win. 1 match has ended in a draw. 5 matches have ended in a win or decisive result, and 1 match has ended in a draw. The only way the fourth team can come in here is if the fourth team has 0-0-3. The only way the fourth team can come into this group is if it has 0-0-3. Is there a team that has 0-0-3? Yes, there is just one team, I. So AHEI is already a group that is identified. One group will have this. And within this group, we know the match of A versus E ended in 3-2. Match of A versus E ended in 3-2. Additionally, I can write down all other matches as well. A versus H, A versus I, and then H versus E, and H versus I, and then E versus I. These are the matches. Here, A is winning the match versus E. A should also be winning the match against I. I has all 3 losses. So wherever I you see, the opponent has won. Now A has 2 wins, 1 draw. The draw match will be A versus H. The drawn match will be A versus H. And H versus E match. E is supposed to have 1 win. That is already recorded against I. So H will have 1 win against E. The outcome of all the 6 matches for this group is also known. A versus E ends in 3-2. Let us go on. Point C is taken care of. Point D. C lost the match against F by 2-3. So C versus F took place. C and F are in the same group. C and F are in the same group, and they have scored 2 goals and 3 goals in their match. Next, no 2 teams in a group have the same points as well as same number of goals. Let's see, do we have any teams that have same points and same number of goals? 7-8, nowhere. 6-12, nowhere. 1-6, yes. C and L have 1-6, both recorded. So C and L have to be in a separate group. C and L have to be in a separate group. 5, nowhere. 3-7, nowhere. 6-5, nowhere. 2-9, and nowhere. 7-5, we have already fixed that, no problem. 0-5, nowhere. 4-4-8, nowhere. 7-12, nowhere. 1-6. So C and L are the only people for which this instruction is valid. And we know CF and L are in separate groups. Okay. No 2 teams played in a group have the same points as well as same number of goals. C and L have to be in separate groups. L did not play any match with B. If L did not play any match with B, it means L has to be in a separate group. This group is already filled up, AHEI. So L has to be here. If L has to be here, and I know C and F have to be in a separate group than L, then C and F will be here. C and F will be here. Okay. Let us also fill out their wins, draws, and losses. C has 0-1-2. 0-1-2. F has 2-0-1. 0-1. And now, see, Wins is same, losses is same, draws is 1. I know the summation of the draws column has to be even. So either I can have 1 draw or 3 draws. 3 draws is not possible, so it has to be 1 draw. It has to be 1 draw. Now, given that the wins and loss column are identical right now, the increase or decrease also has to be identical. That can only happen with 1 and 1. Is there a team that has 1, 1, 1? Is there a team? Yes, there is the team J. So J is here. Now, for these 4 teams that are identified, let's also go ahead and see what would have happened. B versus C, B versus F, B versus J, C versus F, C versus J, and F versus J. I know C versus J is a draw. C versus J is a draw. And I know C lost to F. C lost to F, 2, 3. This I know. Okay. So 1 draw for C is done and 1 loss for C is done. So the other match will also be a loss for C. This is done. Now, for the 3 matches that are left, B versus F. If B wins, then F will win here. If B wins here, F will win here. If F wins here, B will win here. So basically for the other 3 matches, we can't be certain who won, who lost. But we know for certain for these 3 matches, what were the outcome. B won against C, C lost to F, and C and J had a drawn match. A and H had a drawn match, and C and J had a drawn match. Okay. Next, now that we also have 2 teams, as in 2 groups completely made up, now that we will also have the third team made up, the third group made up. A, B, C. D will be here. E, F, G will be here. K, L, D, G will be here. So L is 1 point. So 0, 1, 2. Then D is 1, 2, 0. And G is 0, 2, 1. Okay. Now the matches here will be KL, KD, KG, KG, and LD, LG, and DG. Okay. K is winning 2 matches. If K is winning 2 matches, it cannot win against D. D had no losses at all. So it will win against L. And it will win against G. It should mean KD as a match has to be a draw. KD as a match has to be draw. So all 3 matches for L are draw. Additionally, for G, I know G had only 1 loss. So 1 loss for G is recorded. The other 2 matches for G will be a draw. So for D, I've got 1 win and 2 draws. 2 draws are known. So this match against L, D will win. Okay, let me also go ahead and write down the points total. This is 7 points. This is 1 point. This is 1 point and 5 points. And this is 2 points. So this is rank 1 here. This is rank 2 here. Here 7 and 7 and 3 and 0. So rank 1 and rank 2 here. These are the points. Here I have 7 and 1, 6 and 4. So this is rank 1, this is rank 2 here. We have lots of information available, lots of outcomes known. The only 3 matches for which we precisely don't know the outcome, BF, BJ, and FJ, because in these matches, one of each team will win 1 match. Okay. Next point. In one of the matches where A had a draw, it scored 2 goals. So if A scored 2 goals in one of the matches in which it had a draw, the opponent will also score 2 goals. So it will be 2-2 here. A versus H has to be 2-2. Okay. Every team scored at least 1 goal in every match. except E and F, as they scored 0 goals in exactly one of their matches. F scored 0 goals in exactly one of the matches. Whichever match F scored 0 goals, F could not have won. So whichever match F is losing, F has scored 0 goals there. With B or with J, whichever match F is losing, there F scored 0 goals. Now E has scored has one match in which it scored 0 goals. Let's see. Apart from that, every match had some number of goals scored. Let's see for E. For E, goals scored by A is 8, by H is 12. No, by H is 5. By E is 7. And by I is 5. Okay, we know this much. Now, A, because he has scored 8 goals, in 2 matches he has already scored 5 goals. So in this match, he would have scored 3 goals. He would have scored 3 goals. How many I has scored? I don't know. H versus E and H versus I. Okay. H has scored 5 goals in total. Against A, he has scored 2. So in his 2 matches, in one match he will score 1, in one match he will score 2. But in which match he will score 1, in which match he will score 2, I don't know. And for E, he has scored 2 goals here. Against H, how many goals he ends up scoring, I don't know. Against E, how many goals he ends up scoring, I don't know. So this is it. We don't really know. No, we don't really know precise outcomes, do we? And let's see. He has to score 7 goals. 2 are gone. So if he has, okay, maybe if E has to score 7, okay. One wonderful thing. Look at E. E has 2 wins, 1 win and 2 losses against H. Against H, can he end up scoring 2-1? 2-1 here. Then H versus I will have 1-0, because if H is winning, in one of the matches he's scoring just 1 goal. In one of the matches, H is scoring just 1 goal. Look at H, he has 3 goals left and 2 matches to win. In one match, he'll score 1 goal. In one match, he'll score 2 goals. If he only scores 1 goal against I, he cannot possibly win, because I has to score a goal in every match at least. So the only match in which H can score 1 goal and still win is against E. By extension, in his match against I, he will score 2 goals. And because I has to score a goal in every match, he will score 1 goal here. Okay. So now for E, he has 2 goals here. He has 0 goals here. 2 goals here, 0 goals here. So in this match, E is scoring 5 goals. Now in A versus I has to score 5 goals. In this match, he has already scored 1 goal. So remaining 4 goals have to be distributed here. 4 goals have to be distributed here. So it can be 1 or 3, or it can be 2 or 2. And that's it. These are the only 2 possibilities. A versus I can end in a 3-1 or 3-2, and E versus I can end in a 5-3 or 5-2. These are the only 2 possibilities. These scores are also known. Okay. Apart from that, is there anything else? Let's look at B's goal scored is 12. C's goal scored is 6. And F's goal scored is 5. F's goal scored is 5. And J's goal scored is 8. Okay. The challenge here remains, because we don't know the precise outcomes. Wherever F is losing, in that match, F would have scored 0 goals. Wherever F is losing, in that match, F would have scored 0 goals. But in the other match, F would have scored how many goals? 3 it has scored here. In the other match, it would have scored 2 goals. So the match that F is winning 2-1. The match that it is losing something 0. Let us also do the same work for this group. I have 12 here. I have 6 here. I have also have 12 here. Impressive. D. And for G, I have 9 here. So lots of goals were scored in this group. Now, nothing can be ascertained. Nothing can be ascertained who scored how many goals in what match. I know KD have a draw. I know LG have a draw. I know DG have a draw. But beyond that, nothing else can be ascertained, as in the score lines of these matches cannot be uniquely determined. Let's get to individual questions. Which of the following is the maximum number of goals Team I can score against its opponent? Team I, maximum number of goals it can score. A versus I can end in 1 or 2 goals with I, and E versus I can end in 3 or 2 goals for I. So the maximum number of goals that I can score in a match is 3. Option B should be the answer. Exact score of how many matches can be known by the given information. We have one match, C versus F known. We have A versus E known. We have A versus H known. We also have H versus E known. We also have H versus I known. For 5 matches so far we know. And the wonderful thing is, among the options, 5 is the highest one. So answer has to be 5. We cannot possibly have an answer higher than 5, because for 5 we definitely know. Okay. In round 1, how many matches ended in a draw? For this, you don't really need this table. From this column summation itself, you can see this column currently adds up to 10. And we know for every draw, the summation of the column of draws moves up by 2. So if the summation is 10, how many matches ended in a draw? 5. Next, what is the rank of Team J in its group in round 1? Rank 1 and rank 2 had identified. J was at 0.4, so it should be rank 3 in its group in round 1. So it should be option C. And that is the entirety of this question. When you look at it, honestly, the questions are fairly straightforward. The questions are not that deep, as deep an analysis as we have done. But I just wanted to go into great detail as to what all can be inferred here, not just what is required for the question. Hopefully, the processing and the capturing of information was something that taught you something. That will be all for this.